Our location is 909 Elm Street. The Shaskin Pub is open 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. and offers the best food and drinks in downtown Manchester.
This hour on WMNH is proudly sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 171 Londonderry Turnpike in Hooksett. Serving all your employee benefits planning, design and administration, investment and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. They are available at 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
You are listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA.
Saudi Arabia's public prosecutor says Jamal Khashoggi's death was planned ahead of time. The prosecutor said in a statement to local media Thursday the suspects in the killing committed their act with a premeditated intention. That information reportedly came from Turkish investigators. Saudi Arabia initially denied any involvement when the journalist went missing earlier this month. But later, authorities said he was involved in a fight at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul that eventually led to his death. The news comes just 2 days after Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said his country has information that the Saudi government planned and executed Khashoggi. He didn't say exactly what that information was.
We've searched from coast to coast, under every rock, inside every cave. And coming this fall to Falafel, BC, it's Saudi Arabia's Got Talent. No music, no dancing, and most importantly, no women. Television doesn't get more exciting than this. Introducing your judges, Princess Amira Altawil, actor Ranveer Shuri, and Howie Mandel. What to expect this season on Saudi Arabia's Got Talent? It's Muhammad the Goat Juggler. The comedic stylings of Jerry Jihad.
What is the deal with all these women wanting rights? You know what I'm saying?
Be amazed by Ali Kahil Copperfield's disappearing act. This competition isn't just for the boys. It's Blinky the Amazing Talking Camel. And it all concludes with the emotional return and beheading of Susan Boyle.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living.
Saudi Arabia's Got Talent. Watch it or die.
Greatest country in the world. We packed our bags, we hopped a plane, we left our happy home.
Francine, singing's kind of illegal here.
The culture seemed a bit insane, but you said, hey, when in Rome.
Seriously, Francine, ixnay on the inging.
Maybe you've got no reason to complain, but I've got no Y chromosome. So here's what I don't like about Saudi Arabia. Hit it! You can't go out unless you are escorted by a man. And when you do, you come home with a butt crack full of sand. No alcohol, no rum and cokes, and no Dom Perignon. At least a girl can have a smoke.
But not on Ramadan, says who?
It's a land of joy if you are a boy. But if you are a girl, it's the worst place in the world.
Okay, Francine, we get it.
Oh, but I'm just getting started. American girls, we do Pilates, starve ourselves until we're hotties. Why? Because we like our bodies. Check me out, you uptight Saudis.
Says who?
Oh, it's so awfully grand.
Come on, Francine, stop singing.
If you are a man.
I'm only backup singing.
If you don't take me home soon, Stan, I think I'm gonna hurl. It's the worst place in the world.
I started this point system and she's way behind.
I only want to see the world, explore and socialize. But in this town I can't so much as look at other
Says who?
So if you've got a vagina, a vulva, a clitoris,
What is a clitoris?
and a labia. You see where I'm going with this. Stay the hell away from Saudi
Whore!
Says who?
I said, what kind of a man is this?
Says who?
Well, I've never had alcohol.
Hello, everybody. It's that time again. Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon, live on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Of course, we're also streaming at WMNHradio.org. You can watch us on Channel 97 Comcast if you are in the Manchester area. And, of course, you can also interact in the Facebook live chat during the show on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Already see some folks in there. Hello to Derek Evan Relaford. Also, Heidi Hamer is in there. Hello, Heidi. And I'm going to remind everybody of that event that you said the other day. Also, Ed Murphy is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, hello. So that's one of the ways that you can communicate during the program. You can also give us a call at 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. Just a couple of events to remind everybody of just quickly. Tonight is the night, Thursday, October 25th. That's today, which is convenient because I usually mention the date at the beginning of the show, 2018. Tonight from 6 to 7:30 at, I just have to be careful how I say this on the radio, Fricker's Neighborhood Grill. It is a meet and greet with the West Side Democratic candidates. So that is at Fricker's Neighborhood Grill tonight from 6 to 7:30. And also, the other event is that I wanted to mention, of course, Carol Robideau had asked me to mention this on Saturday, the 27th, from 9 to 11 a.m. at Jupiter Hall. It's a candidate meet and greet at Jupiter Hall, hosted by Jupiter Hall and Manchester Inklink, where all things Manchester connect. And in an email, Carol had mentioned that Ted Gatzis, Lou D'Alessandro, and Bill Barry, just a few of the luminaries, if I may use that term, who will be there at the event. So very, very exciting. That is this Saturday morning at Jupiter Hall. The Chamber of Commerce is co-sponsoring, along with Manchester Inklink, and very exciting stuff. So couple local things for you really quick. Now, we must dive in, my friends. We must dive in. Although I don't know. I don't know if I should use that expression because I personally cannot dive. This is true. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the air. Kind of an odd thing about me. I cannot dive off of a diving board or even off of the edge of the pool. I belly flop every time. Oh, Ed Murphy says a beer and wine tasting event at the Millard Museum tonight from 4 to 7. 4 to 7. Well, Ed, I would hope that the folks would not be wine testing while I'm on the air. My goodness, this is a show that you must experience sober. No, but go check it out. Thank you for mentioning that, Ed. So there's a wine. Apparently, it's already started. It's from 4 to 7 at the Millard Museum, or Millard. I assume it's Millard Museum tonight from 4 to 7. If you have to tear yourself away from this program to have some wine, a little bit of wine, good for the heart, especially as we get older. You can always get the show later. You know, all the shows are archived at WMNHradio.org. But I do want you to be sober while you listen to me because, oh, it's the Millyard Museum. Sorry. Okay, I've heard of the Millyard Museum, but I didn't know if the Millard Museum, I didn't know if this was some new museum, because everywhere you look, there's all these new museums opening up. That's actually not even remotely true. But anyway, what is true is I cannot dive off of a diving board. This is something I learned about myself as a child. No idea why. Well, actually, I do have a theory about why. But it's not like I'm not comfortable in the water. In fact, I dare say I happen to be an excellent swimmer. Very comfortable in the water. But I've never been able to dive. When I was a kid, I tried my darndest to learn. I remember my stepbrother, Paul, one summer, spending hours with me at a pool, and some other kids also tried to help. Tried to figure out why I couldn't do it, but I could not do it. And it's not like I'm afraid of being on a high dive. Like, I can go up on a very high dive and jump off and cannonball or whatever, just straight down. But I cannot dive. I always belly flop. Here is my theory. Again, it's not like I did almost drown once when I was a kid, actually. I almost drowned in a lake in Sanford, Maine. My father had to rescue me. It was before I had learned how to swim, and I had paddled out into the lake a little too far on this little styrofoam surfboard, and I was on my stomach on the surfboard, and I paddled out too far. But the thing is, I don't think it has anything to do with my nearly drowning, because you would think then that I would be uncomfortable in the water in general, not just unable to dive. Like I said, I'm a very good swimmer. So here's what I think it is. I think there's something about the physics of it that my brain just can't do the math. I'm not good at math to begin with, but I think my brain just can't do the proper calculations to actually jump up and turn in the air and dive into the water. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
It's Slicko.
Slicko, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Good. I just want to do a quick little plug here.
Yes.
Let everybody know that tomorrow's my last show ever.
Really? I didn't realize that.
I'm going back into retirement.
Oh, wow.
As you do remember, I did retire back in 2012.
Yes. You're like a wrestler. You retire, then you unretire, come back for the big payday.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely like The Rock.
Yes.
But we got too much to focus on. I'm coming back with Slicko's World. Starting this Saturday, we're going to do that. I'm working on a vlog set now. I'm going to shoot my first vlog Friday. We're going to post it right after the show. Saturday morning, so Slicko's World, the Saturday morning cartoon edition. So yeah, I just want to basically let everyone know you screwed up because tickets are sold out. We're going to be over capacity already.
So we should clarify, you're talking about the show tomorrow night that you're putting on.
Correct.
Yes.
Tomorrow night at WSCA Radio.
Right.
Real quick here. We've actually sold the show out, which is crazy.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, we kind of sold a little too much, but I think it'll be all right.
Yes.
A lot of people that buy tickets don't normally show, so yeah, it's going to be my last show. I'm pretty pumped about it this time, actually. A couple of new songs, remixes. New Fame's going to be in the building. Parker Gang, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good little change for me.
Well, that's great. And, we could tell people, hey, come check it out. But apparently it's sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out. I mean, you can come to the door, maybe get in for $8, depending. But I would get there extremely early because basically it's sold out. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's sold out.
Yes.
If people catch an act and then they leave, I'd be more than happy to have a waiting line outside waiting for people to leave.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. And what if someone wants to show up with a glass and maybe stand outside up against the wall and just try to hear the music, hear the performances with a that trick. You use I don't think it actually works, but you use a glass and you try to hear things.
They do a lot of loud racetracks. Yeah, I remember doing that when I was a kid. You want to go to the races? Yeah, we're just going to stand at the fence real quick.
Oh,
we're kind of poor growing up.
Yes.
So Yeah, no, for half price they can come in the parking lot and hang out with us.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to be running tight security there tomorrow. So I'll be running the door. It's no re-entry.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave the parking lot or the smoking sectional area, if you're under 21, you're out. So at that point, we're going to let someone take your spot in.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because, there's a lot of hype around my last show.
There is a lot of hype.
Pretty intense.
Someone told me the other day,
So-
don't believe the hype. And I said, how dare you? I do believe the hype.
How dare?
There's a lot of hype.
I always believe the hype.
A lot of hype going on.
So that show, I mean, basically, if they want to come through and wait in the waiting line and wait for someone to leave, by all means, come. Maybe we can arrange for you guys to meet New Fame.
Wow.
Up in the parking lot to you.
Ooh.
You know,
like a meet and greet.
Usually it gets popping off in the parking lot around when the show ends at 10. Some ciphers get going in the parking lot. A lot of rap heads around. So
you should.
And then there's an after party.
Oh.
There's actually going to be an after party at Margaret's in Rochester. It's actually East Rochester, right next to that place that burnt down.
So it's going to be popping off in Rochester later. See, I'm trying to incorporate some of the lingo because I want my audience to feel that I'm young and hip.
It'll be popping hard.
Popping hard.
Vegas.
Yes.
Around 11.
Yes. It's going to be like popping off all up in our grills.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
See?
Totes.
Yeah. Yes.
Totes.
Totes. Yes.
I think that's a chick thing. I'm not really sure, but
right. Totes my goats.
Right there.
Yes.
But I appreciate IPM for helping us out with the show. You sold some tickets online, and I think we might have a special IPM Nation guest host. To come over and do the judging for the contest that we're doing. We're doing a Halloween costume dress up thing. So we're gonna give away a little cash prize. It won't be a lot of money, but a little cash prize and
cash and
a
prizes.
Gift box.
Wow. Well, that's exciting, and that'll all be popping off.
Yeah, it'll be popping tomorrow, 6 o'clock. DJ Lendy will be on the tables, and we'll be popping off. So if you want to get in the line, kick it, and wait, by all means, come down. Hopefully, Matt will see you there. And
yes,
I'll leave it on that. But that's my retirement show.
Wow.
Go to slicko.org. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. I'm going to have my brand new podcast open. And we'll talk a little bit about my new vlog because I'm going to start vlogging.
Very good. Congratulations on that.
I actually didn't win $1.6 billion.
Oh.
The lady said she sold me the winning ticket, so I don't know why she lied.
Imagine how much
What are
popping
the odds
off
of
you could
two
do with that
fives
money.
Being in that too? Has that ever happened before?
Has whatever happened?
Somebody won a jackpot that big and it had the same number in it twice?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't pay much attention to
The
that.
first number and the jackpot number were both 5.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
Oh, can't say that, dude.
Bull crap,
I gotta hit the
crap.
dump button there. It's all right. I caught it.
Get that one. The S word. It's the middle of the day, Rick.
Yeah.
I think it's a plea, though. I think it's fake. I think that we just needed some government money real quick, so they're like, "Oh, let's tell them it's $1.6 billion."
Right.
And then DJ Khaled dropped 20,000 easily. He had a stack bigger than a book I've read. I mean, and there was like, I don't know, there's like 10, 20 per sheet, right?
Of
So
lottery
he spent,
tickets?
God only knows how much money, and a lot of rich people did, as well as a lot of poor people. I saw a dude get 1,000 of them at the store right up the street from my house. $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
$2,000.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen
And then all
seen
of a sudden
people do
somebody
that.
wins who we're never going to see. It's probably just some guy at the lottery who works at the lottery, and they just take a picture with him, and then boom, we just like, oh, that's the guy. But like, until he starts spreading that cash around, I'm not going to believe that somebody really won that money. I think they're just trying to screw us to get millions of dollars. I guarantee people spent Tuesday and Saturday because nobody got it Saturday, right?
Mhm.
So.
Right.
Guarantee people spent $10 million on the lottery over those 2 drawings. That all went to the government.
Well, hey, they're not in it to lose money, that's for sure.
Man, what a plea! What a plea!
And most people
right,
who
so I gotta get going.
all right, Slicko.
But I will see you hopefully tomorrow, guys.
Yes, indeed.
WSCA Radio, look up the address. It's right up the street from CBS.
Very good. All right, Slicko. Thank you. Thank you so much for the call, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, just send me the bill for the S-bomb.
Right. You got it.
All right.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's Slicko's event tomorrow night at WSCA Portsmouth Community Radio. I'm going to have to get there late, obviously, because I will be here. I will be finishing up here when the event already is popping off. As Slicko was saying, that's what the kids are saying now. You know, I try to incorporate that young hip lingo into the program. So very, very exciting. So I want to we'll finally get to our first story here, and I saw this and I realized that this might be something that's gone a bit underreported. You know, obviously the news lately has been dominated by Saudi Arabia. And of course, these pipe bombs that more and more of these Democrats have been receiving, apparently, have been having delivered to them. But there's a very important story that I realized today had kind of fallen through the cracks. And you know me, I just feel that as a broadcast journalist, it's my solemn duty to bring this to your attention. This comes from Huffington Post. This happened just this afternoon. It says, New Jersey pooperintendent pleads guilty to public defecation. Thomas Tramaglini's lawyer insisted his client is not a serial pooper. This is, like I said, I feel that this has gone underreported. This happened in New Jersey, but this could happen anywhere in any community, and it's something that we all need to be aware of. And you know, plus you don't want to get caught, you know, pooping in public. It says here, a former high school superintendent in New Jersey has pleaded guilty to public defecation on a local high school's track and football field. My goodness. On school property, you couldn't at least find some sidewalk somewhere. My good. What is wrong with this man? It says here, Thomas Tramaglini pleaded guilty to the charge on Wednesday as part of a plea deal with prosecutors to dismiss charges of public lewdness and littering, according to the New York Post. You know, I wouldn't have thought to call that littering, but I guess it is litter. I mean, you know, we have cats at home and they have kitty litter. That's what they poop in. So I guess it makes sense to call it littering. When I hear the word littering, I think of trash. I don't think of, poop. He will also have to pay a $500 fine and court costs. That's some expensive poop. The 42-year-old Tramaglini was the superintendent of Kenilworth School District until his arrest in May for lewdness, littering, and defecating in public. The district accepted his resignation in July. I guess that's to be expected, right? I can't imagine they were like, hey, are you sure you want to quit? Maybe you just need some therapy. No, they did accept his resignation, apparently. It says here, it seems the athletic coaches and other staffers at Homedale High School, which is not in Tramaglini's former school district, were repeatedly, quote, finding human feces. Well, that's not something that happens every day, right? When you're out at the track field. At or near the track and football field on a daily basis, according to the Asbury Park Press. Asbury Park, you know, I think, isn't Springsteen from Asbury Park? I wonder, he should produce a song about this man. You know, he's now that he's become this icon in the state of New Jersey. Staffers monitored the field until they identified Tramaglini, age 42, as the number 2 suspect. I like what they did there. Well played, Huffington Post. After the alleged offense, the media tagged Tramaglini the pooperintendent. But Tramaglini's attorney, Matthew Adams, insisted his client is no serial pooper. He told the Asbury Park Press, quote, today's facts are contrary to the narrative that was spun about this person that was supposedly a serial offender doing things on the open track, unquote. Adams blamed Tramaglini's public pooping on runner's diarrhea, which NJ.com describes as, quote, the sudden urge to go as you're pounding the pavement on a multi-mile jog, unquote. By the way, this is why, despite my own struggles with depression, why I refuse to go on antidepressants. Too many of these ads I've seen late at night on television, and one of the side effects that they mention at the end of the ad is, they say may cause runner's diarrhea, and I say, oh my goodness! Next thing you know, I'll be pooping on a track at a high school or something. I don't want to end up like this gentleman. Let's see. So Adams, his lawyer said, quote, "There's no evidence he was ever a serial offender. We were ready to go to trial on some of the allegations about certain dates with GPS evidence from his Garmin running watch. That story needs to be told," unquote. I must tell you, I absolutely 100% agree with this attorney. That story does need to be told. I don't know about you, but I'm dying to hear that story. I would love to get the scoop on the poop. Hello to Peter White from the Morning Show with Peter White, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Let's see. Though Tremoglini pleaded guilty, he is planning to sue the Homedale Township Police Department for releasing his mugshot after his arrest, according to crimeonline.com. Okay, speaking of his mugshot, it is included in the story. I'm going to drop a link to the story into the Facebook live chat. So those of you listening online, you'll be able to go to that. I just put the link in there. Now, if you're not listening online, let's say, for example, you are currently traveling in your vehicle, making the afternoon drive, the commute home, you must promise me that you will look up this story at your next available opportunity. Not while you're driving, but maybe you're a passenger and you can look it up. You must see this man's mugshot, because when you see this man's mugshot, you will conclude guilty. He definitely was out there pooping places he shouldn't have been. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
John C. Hopwood.
John C. Hopwood. Have you ever pooped in public?
No, not that I know of.
Good for you. You have standards, sir.
Is this a show, is Glenn there, or is he on his own TV show right now? Because I hear you talking about poop.
Right.
And that is of Glenn R.J., the equine American.
Yes.
Who is
the People's Mayor.
Yes. One of his subjects.
Well, he is very passionate about... he's very passionate about public bathrooms. That is true. You might say he's made it his life's work. And it is a great cause.
His wife's work?
No, his life's work. I don't know what his wife did for a living.
I just got into town.
Oh.
Hey, we had a incident in basic training.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I better talk about it on the public airways.
Well, you've gone this far. You might as well tell us what happened, and did it involve defecation? To use a nice term for it.
I'm only 5 minutes from the studio. Maybe I'll drop in.
Well, there you go. I would very much like to hear this story.
Drop in, drop trial, and get some stuff off my mind.
Sure. I'm not sure about the second of those two options, but the first
Drop
and the third
trial?
are fine. Yeah, I don't want to get cited for lewdness. Next thing I know, we'll have more stains on the floor in here.
Yeah, there might be some legal ramifications.
Yes, I don't like legal ramifications. That's why I don't poop in public.
There is an article of clothing I do have to change, however. I realized I put my shirt on backwards.
Oh, well, that's strange.
You'll get to see that USS Ticonderoga tattoo. Oh, wait a minute. That's on a different body part.
I was going to say, I've heard about it. It is legendary. All right, John C. Hopwood, thank you. All right, it sounds like John C. Hopwood will be stopping in. So anyway, you must see the mugshot of this guy, because like I said, when you see the mugshot, forget about innocent until proven guilty. Forget about due process. When you see this man's mugshot, you'll be like, oh, yeah, he definitely did what he's accused of doing. And it's nice when it works out that way. You can dispense with the whole. I mean, of course he pleaded guilty and tendered his resignation. I mean, you just look at the picture of the man and you go, yep, he did that all right. Let's see. Quick update on Saudi Arabia. By the way, that Crown Jewel event that WWE is having, they had a conference call for investors this morning going over third quarter earnings. And apparently, yes, they are going forward with the November 2nd event in Saudi Arabia. They have changed their story once again, those Saudis. I know, shocking. According to Mediaite, Saudi prosecutors now claiming killing of Jamal Khashoggi was premeditated. Must have been one of those premeditated fisticuffs that so often happens. It says here, Saudi officials are now claiming that the murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi was premeditated. Roughly 3 weeks ago, Khashoggi went missing after visiting a Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, and was eventually revealed to have been killed. The admission that his killing was planned is a stunning admission after Saudi officials claimed first his death was accidental, providing the explanation that he lost his life in a fistfight gone wrong. Reports of a grisly torture and dismemberment have surfaced, and that parts of Khashoggi's body were found in a garden behind the consulate where he was murdered. Oh, God. This admission comes shortly after CIA Director Gina Haspel visited Turkey and reportedly listened to an audio recording of the journalist being interrogated and killed, according to the Washington Post. By the way, when Trump was asked about that, he said something about, well, you know, if, we don't know if that recording even exists, but it is rumored that, no, Gina Haspel actually did hear the recording. Saudi Arabia's powerful crown prince, we just call him MBS now, claimed on Wednesday that Khashoggi's killers would be brought to justice before warning anyone against trying to manipulate the crisis to drive a wedge between the kingdom and Turkey. Earlier on Wednesday, President Donald Trump said that if anyone in the kingdom's power structure had known about the plot, it would be the crown prince. Yeah, he's kind of changed. Trump has definitely toughened up his tone on Saudi Arabia. He's also really kind of toughened up his tone on the media and whatnot with his tweeting, you know, in the wake of, you know, all these pipe bombs that have been sent to various Democrats. And John Brennan received one care of CNN. And, you know, Trump talks about civility and we got to change our tone and tenor and whatnot. And then he goes right back to attacking the media, calling the media the enemy of the people and whatnot. None of it is helpful. There's an update here from Reuters as this continues to be a, you know, ongoing story. They're reporting today investigators focus on Florida in hunt for sender of bombs mailed to Trump critics. Because if you remember, one of the things they all had in common is they had a return address of Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz in Sunrise, Florida. And obviously, she's not the one who sent them. But although if you believe the conspiracy theorists, you know, she was the one, or some Democrats sent them. You know, I've heard all these right-wingers now, some on Fox, Rush Limbaugh apparently has taken this attack on FM radio. And, of course, on social media, they're saying, oh, it's a Democrat who's sending all these bombs as a way to gain sympathy for the Democrats. And there's even a certain television show that I used to be a co-host on that I caught a little bit of last night, and that was the theme of the show when discussing this. Well, obviously, it's a Democrat doing it. It's a conspiracy. Like I always say, the line between conservatism and conspiracy theorism is so blurry, it's almost gone at this point. No wonder they embraced Alex Jones, although now no one embraces Alex Jones because he's been deplatformed. You can't embrace him. You can't find him. I'm sure InfoWars and everything is still up. But anyway, so it says here, the investigation into 10 pipe bombs sent to high-profile Democrats and critics of Trump is focusing on leads in Florida, a federal law enforcement source said today. All the suspicious packages were believed to have gone through the U.S. postal system at some point, the source said. Many of the packages had the return address of the Florida office, okay, so apparently not all of them, but many of them, of U.S. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who John C. Hopwood, I would just remind everyone, he's a little bit sweet on her, has a little bit of a crush on Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as he has revealed on I'm not telling tales out of school. I mean, he's revealed that on the show. Who formerly chaired the Democratic National Committee, according to the FBI. Former Vice President Joe Biden and actor Robert De Niro today became the latest intended targets of the bombs, none of which exploded. The bombs have heightened what already was a contentious campaign season ahead of the November 6 elections, in which Trump's Republicans will try to maintain majorities in the Senate and House of Representatives. The episode has also called attention to the harsh rhetoric Trump wields against his rivals. Trump condemned the bombs, but later blamed the media, his frequent foil, for much of the angry tone. No one has claimed responsibility, and the FBI urged the public to report any tips and be vigilant. Some of the packages sent to New York locations had envelopes of white powder in them, but FBI Assistant Director William Sweeney said at a briefing in New York that initial analysis showed it was not a biological threat. In the past, it was ricin, I think, has been a common one, that they send in powder form that a terrorist might send. Right after 9/11, it was, anthrax. Says the pipe bombs discovered on Wednesday were similar to the ones sent to Biden and De Niro, the federal official told Reuters. Authorities described the devices as crude, while security experts said their goal may have been to create fear rather than to kill. One of the bombs was sent to the New York headquarters of CNN, which Trump has frequently derided for its coverage of him. And the network said on Thursday the device was being taken in a bomb-proof truck to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, for analysis. Leading Democrats said the bombs were a dangerous outgrowth of an antagonistic political atmosphere created by the president. Trump and other Republicans have likened Democrats to an angry mob, citing protests at the confirmation hearing of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The FBI said today one of the two packages sent to Biden, okay, Biden got two of them, I didn't know that, who once said he would have fought Trump if they were in high school, was discovered at a mail facility in his home state of Delaware, and the second at another location. John C. Hopwood is in the room looking for bathroom keys, but they are missing, sir, and we do have a suspect. But I'll tell you more about that when you get back. But yes, you'll have to go up to the fourth floor and use that key. The device intended for De Niro, who received a loud ovation when he hurled an obscenity at Trump at the Tony Awards in June, which I personally didn't agree with doing that, but was sent to one of his properties in New York City. At a Wisconsin rally on Wednesday night, Trump, who has denounced news media organizations as an enemy of the people, called attention to, quote, how nice I'm behaving tonight, unquote. But on Thursday morning, he attacked the media. Trump tweeted, a very big part of the anger, and anger is with a capital A for some reason, we see today in our society is caused by the purposely false and inaccurate reporting of the mainstream media that I refer to as fake news. I need to develop a Trump impression for moments like this. I know impressions are not my strong suit, but I almost feel like I could do one of Trump. I might have to work on that. Right at this moment, I really would love to be able to do one. He also said, it has gotten so bad and hateful that it is beyond description. Mainstream media must clean up its act fast. And forgive me for yelling, but fast is in all caps, with an exclamation point after it. Several of the people who were sent bombs, including Obama and Hillary Clinton, are frequent targets of right-wing critics. Also sent packages were Eric Holder, who served as AG under Obama, former CIA Director John Brennan, who had a security clearance withdrawn after frequently lambasting Trump, prominent Democratic Party donor George Soros, and California Representative Maxine Waters, another outspoken Trump critic. Two packages were sent to Waters, whom Trump has called an extraordinarily low IQ person. Well, we can't all be the genius that our president, Donald John Trump, is.
Very, very large brain. He said, Donald Trump, they don't know what to do. Never happened.
Some major media outlets in New York, including the New York Times, increased security today. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo told CNN some of the packages in his state were hand-delivered and that authorities were scrutinizing security camera videos for signs of the bomber. Trump told the Washington rally his government would conduct an aggressive investigation. Trump said, quote, any acts or threats of political violence are an attack on our democracy itself. We all want AIDS to come together in peace and harmony, unquote. Last week, Trump heaped praise on a Montana congressional candidate who assaulted a reporter during his successful 2017 campaign. The first package turned up on Monday and was addressed to Soros, the billionaire financier and advocate of liberal open border values, who's a frequent target of right-wing conspiracy theories. He is their boogeyman, yes, indeed. The FBI said yesterday the packages consisted of a manila envelope with a bubble wrap interior containing potentially destructive devices. Each bore a computer-printed address label and 6 forever postage stamps, the FBI said. Well, I mean, at least they were in bubble wrap. That's good because, no one likes receiving something that's been damaged. And then they get mad at the post office. Well, no, I mean, Democrats wouldn't get mad at the post office, but conservatives certainly would if they were to receive these packages. I mean, if you're a conservative and you open up something and it's damaged, like you get whether it's not necessarily an explosive, but you go, that post office, I hate the government so much. Stupid post office. That is who they will often blame. Let's see. We will move on from that. I don't necessarily want to spend the whole show on that. Something potentially positive that our president has been doing that I've complimented him on for devoting some effort to this issue. Let's hope it actually pans out in some way. TheHill.com reporting Trump unveils most aggressive action to target drug prices. It says here, Trump today announced a proposal to base payments for certain drugs off of lower prices in other countries, his most aggressive move to lower drug prices in the U.S. And this, by the way, was something that he talked about during the campaign. The proposal more aggressively moves to have the government intervene to lower drug prices than proposals often favored by Republicans. Trump said in a speech at the Department of Health and Human Services, quote, same company, same box, same pill, made in the exact same location, and you go to some countries and it would be 20% of what we pay. We're fixing it, unquote. The announcement comes less than 2 weeks ahead of the midterms, where Republicans have been on the defensive on health care for their votes to repeal Obamacare and weaken pre-existing condition protections. So like I said, we'll see if this actually goes anywhere. I hope that it does. Something positive that our president is doing. Would you not agree, John C. Hopwood? I know how much you love our President Donald John Trump, the 45th and possibly final president of the United States.
I haven't been following the news.
Have you not been following? We're pulling out of our INF treaty with Russia.
Meaningless.
We're going to build lots of new missiles. We're getting back to the Cold War. We're going to have a whole new arms race. It's a very exciting time.
They kept the peace, didn't they?
You could argue that. We have a suspect, by the way, in this whole key thing.
Oh, well, we wouldn't want to talk about that on the air.
Why not? We have been talking about it on the air. You know who our suspect is?
Glenn?
Good evening, I'm Glenn Ouellette, and I live in 112 Auburn Street.
Yes.
Oh. Did he put them in his robe?
Well, here's the thing. He might have.
The cardinal? Is it cardinal or bishop he's running for?
Oh, he denies he's running for everything. He's very coy. But here's the thing.
Did you see the picture of him in the big gold hat?
I did. Well, he could fit a lot of keys in that hat.
What do they call it, a mitre?
I think so. Here's the problem, though. So I brought it up to him on the show. Was it yesterday or the day before? He got awfully defensive about this whole key thing. The keys have been missing for more than just now?
Yes. How could 2 keys just go missing?
I don't know. Or do I?
Was the bathroom besmirched in some way?
I don't know. I haven't been into the bath. I've been using the bathroom on the 4th floor.
You brought up the fact.
I haven't been here for a while.
He says he hasn't been there for a while, but I think he's been in those bathrooms pretty recently.
In basic training, we had what we called the mad. Well, there's
the mad pooper.
It was a more Anglo-Saxon word.
Oh, right.
After a while, we actually had a machine to do the laundry in, and a dryer, and somebody had taken some of the uniforms out.
I don't like where this story's
going. Put them in the toilet, and taken what could euphemistically be called a dump on it.
Uh-huh.
Then the DIs, particularly one really nasty one.
A DI? What's a DI?
Drill instructor.
Ah, yes.
You know, they're lambasting us for what happened and declaring that there is a mad
pooper
loose.
Oh.
After a while, you know, we all got our heads together trying to figure it out because, you know, you're supposed to, like, find the mad and we decided it was one of the DIs. No, not sure, but it was just a stunt they were pulling. Later on, I met people that said they wanted to become a DI, and that you do all sorts of things like you come at 3 a.m. With muddy boots and walk down the hallway. So, and then you go after everybody. Of course, walking with muddy boots is quite different than taking a dump and accusing some GI of being a mad expletive deleter.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but in high school, some friends and I had a sludge metal band called Muddy Boots. But you know what's interesting is, so if you were in that same situation today, with the advances in forensic evidence, you could easily find out who the pooper was.
We were in basic training.
You could easily pick the pooper.
I'll never forget the time it was segregated then, you know, women. You didn't see a woman. And then a troop of women comes by. We were in the building. It's like, oh, my God. You wouldn't believe what it's like to see a woman after not seeing one for like 6 weeks. And then I had to do, towards the end, the errand. So I went to where they have, you know, NCO club, and they had the TV, and there were women on the TV because they're watching TV. It's like, I haven't seen a woman in so long.
Oh, my goodness.
It's really
wow.
strange. Overly stimulating. Not in a physical sense. It's in all sorts of senses. Like
Well,
you
I would
haven't seen
imagine,
a woman in so long.
that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
But
and at that time, you were young and virile. I mean, you still are, I'm sure, but you were younger and viriler in those days, presumably.
Probably more virile now that I've
Really?
lost my hair.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it is testosterone that causes hair loss. So
Ditestosterone. It's a type
yes,
of it.
DHT. Yes.
Yeah, I know that well.
So you are quite virile. That's why we've had this conversation on the air. That's why a lot of women are attracted to bald guys. Oh wow, you've got you've got.
I had somewhat of the Burt Reynolds look, which was very popular in the 70s and 80s, and somewhat into the 90s before the shaver became personal shavers of different parts of the body other than your face became ubiquitous.
Did you ever have the stash to go with it?
No, I could never really grow a mustache. And when I grew a beard, I could grow a beard. I had really long sideburns since I was like 13 or 12 or 13. And I could grow a beard, but it was different colors. It was brown, red, and a little blonde. But it was 3 different colors. But I could never really get a mustache going.
I was talking about John Bolton the other day, and you know my theory about John Bolton, that he's not actually evil, but his mustache controls him. And I was reminded of something that my grandfather used to tell me. He said, it was really his parting words to me. He said, you know, I asked him, it was toward the end, I asked him if he had any words of wisdom for me. And he said, don't hate the man, hate the stash. And I've never forgotten that. He had dementia, though.
Well, he was explaining human beings to a Yeti.
Yes.
You don't technically have a mustache.
Well, that is true.
It's like saying, you take your mother's poodle and, what should we do about the mustache? It's not exactly like the dog actually has a mustache.
For a second, I thought
it's part of their physiognomy, or that's who they are.
For a second, I thought you were going to say your mother's poo, and I was like, oh, we're back to that? My
that
goodness.
dog didn't poo in the house until, towards the very end. Very well-trained dog.
What dog?
My mother's poodle.
Oh.
I got her rescue.
Oh.
Sammy.
You ever go
Samantha.
to pet a poodle and your fingers get caught in its curly hair?
Your fingers can't get caught in their curly hair.
It's very curly hair.
It's very fine.
It's happened to me. Last time
it was probably, the blood matted hair.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, last time I pet a poodle.
I haven't been keeping up with the charts, the lunar charts, and because I don't come on the show as much to know, when the danger periods are.
It reminds me of the other thing
dealing with Deobandi Muslims.
The other thing my grandfather told me, he said, never pet a poodle while it's pooping. And that may have been my mistake.
I can think of a thing any dog doing, you wouldn't pet them, but pooping's not one of them.
Right. So you would pet a poodle pooping.
Well, I got caught by Stinky Gerard up in Pinardville because the dog did have to take a poop. When I was putting the Joe Kelly Lavasser sign up at the flower pot shop. That's absolutely true. The damn dog it's like almost like a punchline of a joke.
Now, see, you're triggering me. You're reminding me of the time I was scowled at by a local politician who shall not be named. I'm still traumatized over that.
Well, it is always difficult to deal with the soulless.
Boy, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, those soulless, piercing eyes piercing my soul. Having my soul pierced by the eyes of the soulless.
Well, it's a simulacrum of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's uncanny. What's the word in German? Heimlich or something? Yeah, one more language I can mispronounce, along with my native tongue.
Oh.
I mispronounce any language I try to speak.
Well, you're dyslexic, right?
What does that have to do with speech?
Well, because in your mind, you're rearranging the letters.
Oh?
Yeah.
That's
why.
Really?
Why wouldn't it?
I think that was true with French, but let's not go down that path.
Now you're just
we were
being
talking
racist.
about Glenn R.J. Ouellette stealing the keys to the pooper,
Well-
and he has made a career out of poopers. And I would prefer, if we're on Matt Connarton Uncut,
well, public
to use the
poopers.
word we used in the Army,
which is
expletive deleter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say laboratory. That's what they used to, or laboratory.
Yeah, a laboratory to laboratory.
When I was a kid, because I went to when I went to a Catholic school
Junior
from
high
grade
school,
2 to grade 8, and that's what the nuns would call it. They wouldn't call it a bathroom; they'd call it a lavatory. And I remember being confused at first. I was like, why does Sister Margarita call it a laboratory?
I think one of the reasons they closed the subterranean expletive deleters or poopers is because some people surrendered themselves to the exigencies of love down there.
Well, that's disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Geez, I remember being at San Francisco State and then at Berkeley. Once you got the power tools that had a battery that you didn't have a cord, my God, they'd start cutting holes right through the walls of the crappers.
Well, that's...
Let's not go there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go there.
And then before you had apps, they'd hand out...
Oh, are you getting an important... This usually only happens to Glenn. Are you getting an important call?
Before, they're going to serve me, I guess, with a subpoena or something. But
I honestly don't...
That's
I was
going to
say, I honestly don't know if you're kidding.
Not with me. Yeah. It's really irritating to go into a men's room in Berkeley and there's some guy, the opposite crapper, hanging on it like he's the crucified Christ, surrendering to the exigencies of love. Coming from New Hampshire, I'd been in the Army and lived in New York City, Boston, plenty of places.
Mm-hmm.
So just wasn't used to such frank expressions of acts of love in a men's room.
It sounds, what's the word? Liberating.
Before the apps on the phones and stuff, they'd give out like at San Francisco State, because you'd have like kiosks for the newspaper, and they'd put a thing in where you could go surrender to the exigencies of love at a campus glory hole. And it's like, I'm certainly not in Kansas anymore.
Right.
I hate to use the word Dorothy for the connotation of that.
Oh, my goodness. How dare you besmirch Judy Garland in such a manner? How dare you? That's something Glenn would do. I can't believe you did that. Glenn's on his television show right now.
Oh, yeah,
so
I heard him bloviating up there.
Bloviating, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the kids are calling it now.
Yo.
Bloviating
my
about
buttons,
about
as
the
the
public
Wizard of
bathroom.
Oz would say.
Right.
I just consider that a public nuisance, but they consider that an expression of their First Amendment rights.
Yes.
Berkeley was very progressive.
Well, obviously. Those godless liberals.
That's the first place medicinal marijuana was sold that I remember.
Aha!
Telegraph Ave.
Yeah. You think that's a coincidence?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so. That's why we got to keep fighting that drug war.
I just want to go into a bathroom and, let's say you just went to you're on Telegraph Ave, which is, Berkeley, the street. All sorts of restaurants you can go get. They used to have great beer. You get like 8%, what was it, Newcastle. So, you're drunk, and then, maybe you get a couple of tacos or something. By the time you get to the campus, you might have to have a roaring need to evacuate your bowels. And, when you've got something like colloquially called the expletive deleted, or you could call them the runs or something, you want to get in there, and you don't want to be distracted because it's uncomfortable.
Right.
So here you are evacuating your butt, or trying to.
Mm-hmm.
And, unfortunately, I have hemorrhoids. And,
wow.
With a Mexican repast, it could be a version of one of the deeper rings of hell. And this is going on.
Did you just blame the Mexicans for your hemorrhoids? That's very racist.
No, Mexican food.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
I was raised by an Irish mother that spaghetti was Muller's spaghetti cut up with Campbell's tomato soup.
How do you say hemorrhoids in Spanish? Was it hemorrhoidos or something?
I have no idea. I don't even know how to say it in French. I'm sure Glenn does.
Yeah, I'm sure Glenn does.
Glenn knows French very well.
He does. Oui.
He's bilingual.
He's more than bilingual. Doesn't he speak like 8 languages or something?
Well, he's in 181 countries.
Yes.
Or is it 216 now?
I think it's 217. I think he just added one, and he's on 12 planets. And I think that will help propel him to victory. He doesn't like... I thought I had found a good theme song for him, Fresh by Kool and the Gang. Apparently he doesn't like that.
Why?
I don't know. I guess he doesn't think it suits him.
What song would suit Glenn?
I don't know. I mean, I for a while I would play his own song that he sang himself, and he didn't like that.
Why don't you go his own song, Discotheques and the Sexolettes, Get Dancing? That was the period after he was Sexy Man.
I'm not afraid to play that one.
Oh, no. We used to hear it here on the local radio.
I'm just afraid that he'll...
I don't have your phone number anymore.
Why not?
I have a new iPhone. It's an iPhone 6 because the iPhone 5 died.
Oh.
So now I'm only like 10 generations behind.
Oh, wow. Now, does that have an app for pooping I don't know about for petting a pooping poodle?
Whenever I go to the Apple store and I have a Mac, it will never let me get in, even though I know my password.
Yeah.
Because I reset it again, and it will never let me in.
Really?
So I never do apps. Apps to me are like an appetizer at a restaurant.
Did you know Glenn knows how to create apps? Apparently he knows coding. This is a claim that he made yesterday on the show.
I knew HTML too, I think. And then my friend Mona went up CC+. She's at the saucer in Sunnyvale. And look at my income level.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
but I never lived for money anyways.
Right.
Although that $1 billion would have been nice.
Oh, what, in the lottery?
Yeah, wasn't it $1 billion after taxes?
It's like 1.6 billion, I think.
Yeah, but after taxes, it probably been a straight billion.
Probably, yeah.
After the tremendous orgy I would have had, I'd have been quite generous with everybody.
Well, that's not... You probably would have ended up broke, because most people who win the lottery end up broke.
Yeah, but what fun I would have had going broke. And I'm broke already, so what's the... That'd be the normal state of affairs.
Right, exactly, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting near the top of the hour, so we'll take a quick break. We'll play a couple things.
Are you going to play Discotheques and the Sexolettes Get Dancing?
Maybe I will. I'll play something else first, but maybe I'll play that as well.
I can show you where the good cut of it is. I mean,
and that way,
part of it.
Yes, and then we can maybe that will lure Glenn down here. Yes, Sexy Man, Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor, and the mayor of sexiness. All right, so
the Bishop of Gob.
Yes. So here's let's play something for our friends in Saudi Arabia. This is Allah Wardi, and this is called "No Woman, No Drive" as we celebrate the beheadings and all that goes on in that amazing country that
that owns the United States.
Yes. Here we go. We'll be back. More Unleashed.
Hello.
Coming up.
My name is Hisham Faghi. I'm an artist and social activist. I don't really listen to music, but while studying in the US, I heard a song by a Jamaican guy that really caught my attention. I decided to do my own rendition, with lyrics relevant to my culture, but without musical instruments. And now, with the help of some of my talented friends, I sing. No
the family car, but backseat. Over me, so safe and well, so you can make lots and lots of babies. Good friends we've had, and good friends we've lost on the highway. In this bright future, you can't forget your past. So put your car key away. No woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. Here, little sister, don't touch that wheel. No woman, no drive. I remember when you used to sit in the family car, but backseat. Of course, the driver can take you everywhere because the queens don't drive. But you can cook for me my dinner, of which I share with you. Your feet is your only carriage, but only inside the house. And when I say it, I mean it. Everything's gonna be alright. 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 No woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. Oh, brothers and sisters, don't touch that wheel. No woman, no drive.
Says who?
I'm your man of the hour. Come on, do your thing. Dance your dance. Do all those hits I remember. I'm your friendly disc jockey trying to tell you it's time to get dancing, baby. You can't think of all the wrong and all the wrong of the world. You can't think of all the bad things you do. You just keep dancing. Put out your mind. Be happy and love yourself while you're dancing. You get
ça va?
Oh yeah. Oye, mira, mira, mira. No matter how pretty you are, nobody cares how you wear your hair, darling. Just keep doing it. Yeah. Come on, do it, baby. When you hold yourself, dancing to yourself, you know you got something. I love you, Gladys. I'm so happy. Come on, Papa. Oh, thank you very much. I love you. Miss Ouellette, I love you. My chiffon is...
We've searched from coast to coast, under every rock, inside every cave. And coming this fall to Falafel, BC, it's Saudi Arabia's Got Talent. No music, no dancing, and most importantly, no women. Television doesn't get more exciting than this. Introducing your judges, Princess Amira Altawil, actor Ranveer Shuri, and Howie Mandel. What to expect this season on Saudi Arabia's Got Talent? It's Muhammad the Goat Juggler. The comedic stylings of Jerry Jihad.
What is the deal with all these women wanting rights? You know what I'm saying?
Be amazed by Ali Kahil Copperfield's disappearing act. This competition isn't just for the boys. It's Blinky the Amazing Talking Camel. And it all concludes with the emotional return and beheading of Susan Boyle.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living.
Saudi Arabia's Got Talent. Watch it or die.
Good evening, I'm Ouellette, and I live in 112 Auburn Street. And I haven't been here for a while.
Welcome back, everybody. It's hour number 2 of Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. We're live on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Is it going to rain there, John Hopwood? John C. Hopwood?
I hope not. I got a bunch of stuff outside I got to put in the house. But, you know, Glenn might have had a very successful career as a disco singer in the early 70s if it hadn't been for, it was like Milli Vanilli, you know. That really wasn't Glenn singing.
What?
No, it wasn't. It was a guy called Monty Rock III pretending.
Oh, I thought you meant something else.
Discotheques, a.k.a. Sexy Man.
I thought you meant something else. No, because we all know in the other thing he was singing.
Oh, yeah. That one.
Very famous video.
But that's one of the reasons people thought he was lip-syncing in that one, because of this previous scandal.
Right.
No. History repeats itself.
Yes, history repeating. You know that song? No,
as you remember, he did admit that he had been a songwriter after denying he had been a songwriter.
Who, Glenn?
Yeah.
Yes.
On this very program.
That's true, yes. He's a very humble man.
Well, I think it's probably one of those, what do you call it, Led Zeppelin type of copyright issues he's probably trying to avoid.
Right, yes, as he should. He's wise to do so.
He is.
Yes.
Yeah. So
exciting times. Have you received, you're a Democrat, have you received a package?
Package of what?
A package of pipe bombs?
Poop?
Geez, that'd be even worse. Can you imagine getting a package of poop?
No, I just get the, what do you call them, subpoenas from the Republican.
Well, that's metaphorically, you might call that a package of poop.
And threats.
Yes.
Threatening letters.
Yes. You haven't received a package of poodle poop? That'd be terrible.
No.
Oh. All right. Well, I mean, it would have made for an exciting story, but I guess I'm glad that you didn't do that.
Mongo just pawn in Great Game of Life.
Oh, right.
Choo-choo go to dog.
Trump has said today...
Choo-choo.
No, he said, I am bringing out the military to stop border crossings. That's exciting.
But he can't bring out the military. He could call the National Guard. If they use the military, it would be...
Well, that's always the argument against it, right? That would violate something...
Posse comitatus.
Yeah, I'm never sure how to say that.
Which, because of the use of federal troops to occupy the South, after the War of the Rebellion of 1861-65, as it once was known, in the North.
But why can he send the National Guard? They're part of the military, so why is it okay to send them, in theory, legally?
Because they're used for policing actions like riots.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay.
You know, they can also be federalized and sent overseas. My grandfather was in the National Guard at the age of 19 because it was called up because of the punitive expedition against Mexico in 1916, led by Blackjack Pershing against Pancho Villa.
Oh.
And so he was in the New Hampshire National Guard. He shared the tent with somebody. What was his name? Was it Hollis? Hopwood Hollis. But when they got to France, when the Guard, he was in a Guard unit brought into the Rainbow Division 26. They got to France and they were split up. And his friend died on his...
How old did you say?
21st birthday, 14 days before the war ended.
How old?
And he's buried in France.
How old did you say he was?
Born in 1897, and he joined the Guard in 1916.
How old was he?
19. No, 19.
No, 19.
He was gassed. So was his brother Bill.
Oh my goodness.
We lost 53,000 dead in about 4 months of fighting in 1918.
Jeepers.
Almost as many as Vietnam. It was brutal.
Oh my goodness.
But it's nothing compared to what the Allies and the Germans and the Russians lost.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head what the average age was of a soldier sent to Vietnam?
Well, it was 19.
You're developing a stutter.
I think so.
Wow.
Glenn taught me that. He said always play for sympathy.
Glenn actually did the backing vocals on this track. I don't know if you know that. He'll never tell you that. He's very modest.
Well, yes. He was the back when he was just a strapling or stripling.
Right.
He used to pen. He used to do the ink drawings of a rather risque comic strip called Modesty Blaze.
Oh my.
Or was that Jeff Cassell?
Would you believe I actually genuinely liked this song when I was a kid?
What song?
19 by Paul
We
Hardcastle.
all did. I was in the Army when it came out.
Did
we
you?
always 19.
Right.
It was irritating, but then you're drunk when you're off duty.
And it's catchy. It's catchy. His a one-hit wonder, Paul Hardcastle. Much like Glenn R.J. Ouellette, a one-hit wonder.
I wonder what Glenn was doing when he was in 19. He did try to join all the services, including the Coast Guard.
Yes.
Which, was under the... Well, it wasn't put in the Department of Transportation.
Well, I think they wouldn't take him because he's from Van Buren, Canada.
Well, he does... No, he has a disability.
Oh, right.
It's one of the reasons he's so tall. That basketball players often have, but we're not, I'm not going to reveal it. But although I actually probably have. He's talked about it.
What is that very strange sound I'm hearing in the headphones? Oh, I think it's your jacket. Is it your jacket?
Yeah, this is...
It is. It's your leather jacket. It's making
goes back. This is almost... This is from the 1960s.
It's very stiff, isn't it? It's got that sound.
Or it might be just from the early 70s.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. It's made out of, I think, alpaca. Not alpaca. Let's see what it's made out of. It's made out of some exotic animal from Africa.
Oh, my God.
When you could wear exotic animals from Africa.
We're going to have PETA. PETA's going to be here. Chrissy Hine from The Pretenders is going to run in and throw fake blood on you.
Imported African Angola kid skin. Oh, so kid is just... What's an Angola kid? Uh-oh. I got this from Glenn.
All right. Now I want to know.
We should give this to Glenn.
Now what I'm going to do, and
if Glenn sees this is made out of imported African Angolan kid skin, he'll do what he did with the robes.
I don't even want to think about it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to
let him in the new DoubleTree.
Whatever I find here, I most likely won't be able to read on the air.
Angolan kid
skin.
But
I just went to UrbanDictionary.com and I'm looking up the UrbanDictionary.com definition of Angola kid. And there's nothing. There's nothing. So we could actually create one,
Oh.
If we could come up with something because if you go to UrbanDictionary.com and you look up something and there's nothing there, it will actually allow you to define it, and then you can submit something. The only problem is live on the air on FM terrestrial radio, we can't really come up with something disgusting.
Antique Angola kid skin leather coat, double breasted. Let's see how old it is. Oh, it's 70s. What do you think that you could, Angola was a Portuguese colony. They later had a vicious civil war there where the United States got involved on the losing side, of course, because of the company, the other agency, picking the wrong side. So do you think that this could be actually Angolan kids? But a kid is like
well,
a
I hope
goat,
not.
right?
That would be really That would be really disturbing if you were wearing like.
That's why I don't want Glenn to know about this.
Well, Ed Gein,
he has a thing about kids.
I think Ed Gein grew up in Angola, didn't he? And that before his family brought him to the United
Iowa.
States. Now,
Iowa, as they say out there.
By the
where
way,
they got hogs that will go out onto the highway, and they're big enough to smash your car completely to bits.
I didn't want to bring this up. This is a little awkward, but
About pigs?
I am
Angolan kid?
I am of Angolan ancestry, and it's only like 1/100th. But
I didn't mean to offend you.
Let me just say this:
you had the DNA test.
Let me just say this: my culture.
I lost the bet.
My culture is not a jacket. I'm just going to leave it at that.
In the words of Pee Wee Herman in one of the Cheech and Chong movies, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. I'm not really Angolan. I'm actually.
You're kidding as a kid. You're kidding that you're not an Angolan kid.
Right. Right. I'm a Pacific Islander and I'm a grown man. Clearly.
Oh, okay.
No, so.
You sure you don't want any Angolan kid?
I'm glad we straightened that out. Well, can I adopt one?
Kid's skin is leather made from the skin of a young goat.
Oh.
Whereas with Glenn, if we skinned him and made a coat of him, it would be of an old goat.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh yeah, he was really busting my expletive deleteds the other day. Oh, stones, excuse me. He was busting my stones the other day.
Yes, you could say stones. You can actually get away with saying
Daddy's
balls,
girl. How an African princess banked $3 billion.
Whoa.
More. Hey, this woman, the Angolan president's daughter, stole as much money as our favorite president alleges to be worth.
Oh, my goodness.
You can't get any better than that.
I know someone who'd be interested in some of that African cash.
Maybe our favorite president can appoint this gal to represent us in the UN rather than his favorite gal.
Oh, that's right. She's leaving, yes.
Is she going to the UN?
Who? Oh, his daughter?
What's her name? Minky? What's the one I dated?
You
the
dated
one that nobody knows about.
Tiffany?
Yes. How can I? I took her to Tiffany's. I got her the ring that says 1837. It only cost $60. Oh, is he mad?
Did you wake up a little sticky?
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Oh, at least he didn't want to date. I was about to say Stinky or
Tiffany?
Winky.
Yeah.
Tiffany, that's right.
Right.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Well, she's distanced herself from the rest of the family business.
Not anymore.
I think she's the smartest of all of them. What do you mean not
Oh,
anymore?
she was out there pitching the woo for her daddy.
She was?
Oh, yeah, because she's the only one that's probably not going to be indicted. So
Right. Well,
she's like
yeah.
the backup kid.
Yes.
I still love her.
Of course you do.
Haven't seen her in a long time.
And she loves you.
What you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? You could be Trump's other son-in-law if you married Tiffany. Wouldn't that be exciting?
I don't believe in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't almost get married.
Well, weren't you kind of married or something? Wasn't there something?
Shacked up.
Yeah, but why?
Well, we were supposed to get married, but we didn't have a divorce decree. So Leo
her
Bernier,
divorce,
the old city
right.
clerk. I asked the woman to marry me a few years ago, and she laughed at me.
Oh.
Then I called
That's
up my
not
friend,
nice.
very close friend, before I could get who knew my passion for this one. Before I could get it out, he laughed at me too. So then I laughed.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Oh, she'd smoked some of that marijuana.
She started
cannabis.
laughing, got the whole world laughing.
Some of that cannabis.
Cannabis, yes. We prefer the term cannabis around here.
And she was watching a movie by one of these newer comedians I've never heard of.
Oh,
at least that was her story.
Mm. A newer comedian you've never heard of.
Newer.
Like,
isn't that a tribe
was it
from
like,
Africa that Glenn was once a war chief with? The newer?
The newer tribe. Yes, he was.
As opposed to the older tribe.
No. He's actually running for war chief of the Newers.
Yes.
Good evening, I'm Glenn Ouellette, and I live at 112 Auburn Street.
How many offices has Glenn
And I haven't been here for a while.
failed to take in Canada, the United States, and in the 179 countries that he's associated with?
Why don't you offer to be his campaign manager, and then he start winning some things?
You know, people think we're mocking Glenn, but we live in awe of him. I've never been offered a honorary citizenship for any country.
Me neither.
The only one I got's the United States.
Me too.
I thought I was going to get an Irish passport, but the stories about Granddad, my mother's dad, being from Ireland, weren't true. He's actually from Boston. He's born in Massachusetts.
Don't you think,
which is
though,
Ireland, west.
Don't you think, though, if you have not to be crass about it, but
or crabby
or judgmental,
or crappy,
but to have dual citizenship, don't you think that makes you a bit of a
dual citizen,
bit of a hussy?
Makes you a dual citizen.
I mean,
depends on the country.
Shouldn't you be
depends on the country.
Mono-citizenistic?
Now, French and American. I mean, you really have a real clash there between good and bad, the better angels of your nature and the worser ones, between a hairy-chested all-Americanism and the feet. Here Germans, just do what you want.
Well,
as long as you buy our croissant.
Ted Cruz, of course, renounced his Canadian citizenship because
he had to.
He didn't want to be a slut.
But let's say you're English and American or Irish and American. I don't see any shame in that.
And having those dual citizenships?
Well, there's a certain romance to Ireland. And, of course, England was once a great empire, and we took over the mantle of, how they ran the world for like 200 years. We are considered an Anglo-Saxon country by the French.
Mm-hmm.
And, with Canada, I don't want to put Canada down, but that's kind of like USA Junior. Why would you want to, when you already got such a muscular citizenship? Now, America and Russia, I'd keep them both. Although I don't go anywhere with a Russian embassy. So maybe I've just better think about that again.
Mm-hmm.
Since there's one everywhere.
Since there's one what everywhere?
Russian embassy. And consulate.
Oh, my God.
There's a consulate in Boston.
Oh, my, really? Just
you can
just
stop
south
in
of
to
us.
take a poop and
That's
adios.
terrifying. There could be
baby.
There could be hypersonic weapons in that consulate.
There are hypersonic weapons, but they aren't quite what you think they are.
What are they?
They're listening devices.
They're what?
That's all I'm saying.
Well, because to hear Putin tell it, these hypersonic weapons are. They've
had stuff like this since the early 60s.
Instead of getting you in under 30 minutes like an ICBM or a pizza, it gets you in like 30 seconds and you're dead. Is that not true?
I don't know.
Is Putin lying?
I really don't. I'm going to say I don't know about that.
You do know, and you're not talking.
Well, part of spycraft, and at least since the early 60s, is using that type of technology to listen in.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen off of a window.
Hence the term hypersonic.
If you can break somebody in, which is not that difficult, they'll pose as maintenance people or something. You'd put the devices inside, equipment. If you have an RF receiver inside a printer room, you can. This is 60s technology. You can tell what's being printed. The cable.
Oh, I know. I've seen Get Smart. No, but
because all that stuff's widely known. You would be surprised how such basic technology, what it can actually do, and how it can be more effective than a satellite.
But I believe the hypersonic weapons, if I understand correctly, they're called that because they travel faster than the speed of sound.
They do, huh?
Yes, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Well, people in embassies used to think that they had the syndrome from being exposed to RF radiation.
Yes.
Which it is radiation.
Right.
And microwaves, that's what nailed me. And as Stinky Gerard, had he after I'd zapped him once, how I used to love to do that. With one of
you zapped him with radiation?
A video or
something.
Terrible.
Oh.
I revealed that I'd been hit with a massive dose of microwave radiation on your show. Remember, 3 or 4 years ago.
That is true, and that is very much how I felt that day. I was scowled at by an unnamed politician.
Well,
I felt as though I'd been zapped with radiation.
He once was talking on his radio show and said, "Oh, by the way," about a subject that I zapped him on, or something, or we're in conflict with. "Oh,
yes.
By the way, I just bought a microwave oven over at blah, blah, blah." I'll bring you the recordings, because I have the recordings.
Oh.
And, yeah. But using microwave RF radiation, that's old technology. But when they busted Gotti finally, they were using, they can use when we speak, the sound waves will vibrate on the glass.
Yes.
And you'll take them off. And at one of the Gotti trials, you have people that are trying to read the stuff.
Yes.
And it's more. It can be more art than science.
Right.
Yeah. When you are spying on someone, people have different abilities to pick up the information, and you rely on certain people. Your go-to person. Not everybody can hear what's going on. Just the physical, just the thing of hearing of what's going on, particularly foreign language.
I'm concerned, though, about your statement. I'll bring you the recordings. The last time someone said that to me, the next thing I knew, I had the CIA knocking on my door.
You mean the company?
Asking if I had listened to these recordings, and I said, no, I don't know. I don't even know the guy who gave me these. It was very scary.
Since Patriot Act 2, they're the other agency. That's how they referred to.
Right.
Wouldn't trust them with the time of day.
No, certainly not. The Dions are here. Ben Dion and his father, Darryl Dion.
Who is wearing a New York PD hat.
NYPD.
He used to be a patrolman down there until he got caught by the Knapp Commission. Or was that the movie Serpico?
Oh, I was never Serpico, no.
Right.
But you wanted to be.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I was in that era, though.
You never had the English sheepdog?
No. I have a very close friend who was born in New York, and it's just an homage.
Oh.
There's nothing to do with anything.
You could have made up a great story, and we wouldn't have known the difference.
Well,
I
tend to tell the truth.
I mean,
then you're not going to be very useful in the police department.
And then radio is theater of the mind. I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, Matt Connarton isn't even my real name. I mean, you'd be shocked if you knew who my true identity. I mean, this is like an outer mask I wear.
Were you the bad cop?
Pardon me?
Were you the bad cop or the good cop?
That kind
when
of
they brace
no,
you.
see that kind of question. I know where you're going with that. That's for my other show. That's for Matt Connarton Unsheathed.
There's a saying.
Unsheathed.
Yes, that's if he's going where I think he is with this line of dialogue.
There's a saying in New York. Well, it's from the '60s, '70s, that once you go beyond the desk with the sergeant, where you come in
I thought
and
you were
process.
going to say something else for a second there.
Once you go beyond that desk, which is in public, you're beyond the law. Unless you have, you're rich, you have muscle behind you, you're connected. You're beyond the law. But
rich have always been beyond the law.
But the difference between New York and Chicago, in New York they'll beat you, but they tell you before you die. In Chicago they don't care.
Oh my goodness!
But it's different police forces have different styles.
Yes.
So you can survive a trimming in New York.
What do you mean by trimming?
Beating.
Oh, right.
You never been interrogated?
Yeah.
For what reason will I have to be interrogated?
Well, if you have a
You're
certain
pretty suspicious.
Mm.
I've been interrogated.
Well, you probably deserved it.
I was interrogated as part of my being in the intelligence. So you're under, they put you on a lie detector.
Oh, yeah.
And they interrogate you.
Yeah.
So Ben is not. You have not been interrogated, Ben?
No.
You've never been rousted by a cop?
Nope, never.
He's a school teacher. He has to, he can't even spit on the sidewalk. Am I right?
I mean, that's true.
Pretty
But
much.
I am pretty, I'm by the book. I'm pretty by the book.
That has nothing to do with being rousted by cops. You could be an innocent bystander, which it happens all the time.
Yes.
Depends. You live in a place like New York where
See, we're in
stuff happens.
Manchester, New Hampshire. That doesn't happen here.
Oh, no, it sure in hell does, and it always has.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
any recent occurrences?
There's many a trimming going on right now. right now
my
as we speak.
My definition of trimming is way different than John's.
Oh, right.
Well,
yes. He makes it sound nice.
I'm not complaining about the cops, but I know what police do.
Right. You complain too much, you might get a trimming.
Well, you leave them alone.
Sounds like we're at a deli right now. Trimming.
You think so?
Yeah. I hear trimming, I think of
I was thinking barbershop.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, right.
Turkey.
Yes.
Turkey trimmings.
Yes.
All the trimmings.
Turkey carvings.
And then not long after that, you're trimming the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why it sounds so nice.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Sounds very cheerful.
Yes. Yes.
Very holiday-esque.
Yes.
Off camera, it can tell you something. Because we know, there's things that happen here, but whether people deserve it or not. And it's not particularly a matter of desserts either.
Right.
Desserts. See?
Yeah, you have desserts after you have
we're
the
still
trimmings.
talking about food over here.
Yeah.
Well, I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, you know.
I only eat turkey dinner once a year. That's Thanksgiving.
That's what we'll call you. Oh, you don't teach literature. We could
No.
use that as the objective correlative.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
No, when you're in when you are writing, rather than go directly at an issue, because you're writing something artful or whatever, you actually will use metaphor or something, or you don't actually go directly towards the issue. But this would become a lecture on literature. But another thing in journalism, like I was just reading a book about Daniel Ellsberg, who I met.
Glenn R.J. Ouellette is here, by the way, the People's Mayor.
When the Pentagon Papers came out, there's a movie that came out, I guess,
Post.
this year.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the Post that originally did it. It was the New York Times, but they got enjoined.
Well, no, the Post is the name of the movie.
And then then it was the Post, and they got enjoined.
Right.
Then it was the Globe got enjoined. Howard Zinn was part of that, who I knew. And then the St. Louis Dispatch. It's the first time in history that they interfered in that way.
Right.
With the Pentagon Papers
Mhm.
case. But when you do an article and everything, there's a way of writing to avoid libel, of course, where you actually can, it's all like a template where you can question the veracity of like the President of the United States or something, or a Pentagon official. You're laying it out there, but it's indirect. That was how journalists were taught how to do that stuff in those days. There's a way of going. And when you're dealing with like the Soviet Union, there's something called Sovietology. You would read things that are said mean something specific. And journalists were often used during the Cold War. But things mean states' rights. We've talked about that. What
Yes.
does states' rights mean? Stuff like that.
Yes.
Everything's coded. Coded
State
language.
rights mean a lot less today than they did yesterday, don't they?
I'm not sure what you're referring to because I don't follow the news.
Our federal
lately.
government takes away a lot of our state rights, right?
Yes, but you have to keep in mind, Glenn, that term also has another meaning.
Really?
Yeah, racism.
Pro
States' rights
segregation.
mean segregation.
Hey, by the way,
yes.
Is Russia or China listening to us
Yes,
today?
they listen to us very well.
They're too busy listening to Trump.
Oh, that's what we were talking about, the missile.
You got my
trader.
point.
Yes, they're listening to Trump's phone call. Well, Trump is apparently very careless in terms of security. He'll,
Yeah, he should shut off
They
his
don't
private
want
phone.
He doesn't want to secure his phone.
Yeah.
Right.
For whatever reason is unknown to me.
Yes.
Oh, you don't know? He made it clear last night. He can't.
Nothing is clear when Mr. Trump
On
speaks.
this,
I can
that's
assure you
true.
that.
But on a secured phone, he cannot put his friends on there. He wants to talk to them privately that nobody else listens, yet China and Russia are
They're
listening.
listening.
They certainly are.
Well, he's got friends there. I mean, in Russia, Putin's his BFF.
Absolutely.
They text all the time.
He's giving
Yes.
away all our spy things, isn't he?
He's
I
giving
don't
away
think
our
I don't
spy
think
things.
they're telling him anything about the spy thing.
Yeah, because he
they
doesn't.
hold back enough information that he can't possibly hurt us.
Plus, he
should
doesn't
bad
take it
thing
in very
happen.
well. They say
Oh.
he forgets.
He forgets.
Is that putting it politely?
Very much so.
Yes.
I hate to say it, but you could probably break into any communications network.
Oh yeah.
Anything that commercially you think that you can acquire
Mm-hmm.
is already broken.
I notice you speak this way when you wear a leather jacket. You start
And
talking about
kidskin
breaking into things. Yeah. This is made out of. We figured it out of Angolan kids, not Angolan children, but Angolan
goats.
Angolan goats, because you call a goat a young goat a
old
kid.
goats like you and me.
So we're gonna have to.
You did say you and me.
Now,
Is that why the protesters were outside?
Yes.
PETA.
I warned him. PETA's going to come
PETA's
in
out
here
there.
and throw fake blood. Yeah.
Let
Watch
them
it,
throw
they
the
might-
paint.
they
That was
might-
the chant outside.
They might
Oh, yeah.
badmouth you.
Bad John.
That's
You're
right.
wearing my goat.
You're wearing Glenn's goat. How dare you?
Yeah. We call when I was in MI in Germany, we called this a Stasi jacket. Stasi were the East German police. They were the people that tasked the Red Army faction to go after us and the Patriot missile people.
So when you wear that, you feel like an East German policeman?
No, it's I'm so short it fits.
Oh, right.
Now is goat
I can
hide?
tell you who gave it to me, but I'll tell you afterwards.
Is goat hide softer than cowhide
Or rawhide.
or rawhide?
No, it's just like leather.
It is leather.
Yeah.
Goat leather.
Does that get your goat, Glenn? See what I did there? You like that?
My
That
goat's
was
still
coming.
intact.
That was coming.
Glenn's goat is still intact, he says.
I was waiting for that pun.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what Glenn's response means, though. What do you mean your goat is still intact?
It isn't any different than what you told me. Is my goat intact?
I don't understand what that means. What does that mean?
Why did you ask me that?
Is that a euphemism? Or is that a metaphor? Is that what does that mean? My goat is still very much intact.
This entire universe has become a metaphor.
Are you saying you're a virgin?
Oh, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. My goat is still intact. I mean,
my goat.
sounds like something you say when
Well, you
you're
haven't been to Africa.
drunk at a
so we
college
don't
frat
know.
party.
My goat is still intact.
Your
Your
goat is.
goat. We all have a goat.
Adam's apple?
Men have Adam's apples.
So your
That's
Adam's
called
apple.
a goat?
It's
The
an Adam's
guttural
apple, but
stop?
it's considered a goat.
Are we in a different show now? I feel like this is a different show.
I know it's
We
weird, right?
transitioned to
It's a
something
children's
way
show.
different.
Going back to Trump and his communications, why do you assume that Trump knows anything that can't be known by the Russians? Why do you assume that he has the information?
Well, I don't assume, but it's just funny that he's as president and leader of the free world, he has this protection that he refuses to take and just talks to anybody he wants
Which
to.
means
and
he
they're-
wouldn't be supplied with the information. It's not that you have a people have a strange idea about the presidency that comes out of like a 5th grade civics book. It's a collective.
By the way, hello to Fred Bonig from the dailyripple.org, who's in the Facebook live chat. He says, I think the trending term is nationalist, referring to Trump.
Ooh.
He's referring to John as Fonzie because of the jacket and says, yes, that goat had to go.
I'm ready to jump the goat.
You're going to
jump the goat.
You're going to jump Fonzie?
Yeah, we're going to jump the goat here at the show.
All right, if I look that up on urbandictionary.com, I know I'm going to find something horrifying. Hello also to Chuck Gosson in the Facebook live chat, and I'm never sure how to say her name, Amy Lascauso Grimm in the Facebook live chat.
But you're assuming that what's publicly available or the positions that are put out by these people are the positions they actually have. And that's not necessarily true.
True.
It's just like all power, even in this city or any place, is it not exercised in public, it's exercised behind the scenes.
As is.
And the most powerful
Not
people
right,
aren't
but-
the politicians.
What goes on
What did you just
behind
say?
closed
Say that
doors?
last thing again?
The most powerful people are not the politicians.
Well, thank you.
So.
Well, how powerful would you say is Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor? I
Well,
mean, he's a powerful man.
Not only transcendent and translucent, and thank you for right to know and all that, your adherence to that.
Yes.
But he's transfabulous.
According to some aldermen,
I like that.
according to some aldermen who have gone on the Joe Levisar show in the last few years, they keep saying that 10% of what's being passed at the local level is because I insist because the facts are facts and they don't have a choice.
Pooping, yeah. That's
So sorry. They should be doing their work.
That's right.
He's not.
You should make them do their work.
No signaling. I know all about semiotics. you use something else. Like, I always signal. When I was at the school meeting, somebody, we know, John. Don't go off into PTSD.
What are you
land
talking
because
about?
You're talking about the fire. You didn't see the school board meeting?
No, I missed it this week.
No.
I went over there. Something was irritating.
Was that Monday? Was that Monday?
I heard about that.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yes.
When I miss a meeting, something happens.
Flower pots were flying.
What happens when you miss a meeting, Glenn?
Something like that happens.
Oh, you need to be there to restore order.
You won't see it in the union leader.
Right. Oh. Wow.
But, I've studied all this stuff for years. We are not privy to everything.
True.
So,
And you're never going to be.
so your dad has become a radio phenomenon.
I know, he really has.
And he loves
Excuse
it.
me. Excuse me.
He's a morning man.
Phenomenon?
Phenomenon.
Phenom.
You never heard
Morning.
the song Phenomenon?
You
I've
must
heard
have
it, but
somebody.
I'm not buying it.
He has somebody.
He's everywhere.
You got to get with it.
Well,
Phenomenon.
Were you there this morning?
He didn't go
I
this
got
morning,
it now.
no.
I got it.
There you go.
I didn't wake up and
He'll be on tomorrow morning.
And he
Yeah.
loves
But
it.
that's
And he's
it.
and you
Was
are
that
great
the
at it, by
place?
the way.
Yeah.
You have this
Yep.
enthusiasm
Yep.
that we really need.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying to bring it across, but I just really enjoy it,
Yes.
and I think that's what it's all about.
It is.
I don't expect any adulation. I just get up in the morning. It's great because it gets me up at 5.
Yep.
The bell's ringing.
5. Wow. What time do you get here?
About 6:30.
Oh, okay.
6:45 in that range.
He jumps out of bed like like he was shot out of a cannon.
Wow.
You have evidence of that we could post on.
You have a lot of energy, right?
When I do, I will.
These metaphors.
You have a lot of energy.
Be dismaying.
I
Shot
do.
out of a cannon.
That sounds like a very
Could be like
dangerous.
violence.
Sounds like a very dangerous way to get up in the morning.
No, I don't think so.
Well, the wall that I land up against is padded.
Rubberized. It better be.
Boom.
The bed just kind of goes.
There you go.
Flings up.
Yeah. So you wear a helmet when you go to sleep.
Yes, he does. He's
That's
very
a
careful.
Personal
That's
protection.
wise. Yeah.
Right,
Good.
right.
Very
It's
good.
been so much. It's been so much fun though. I really have had a good time, and I have to thank Ben for getting me on.
Yeah. You created a monster.
A monster.
Hey,
Yes,
I keep threatening him though. You keep him down and humble.
Yes.
I keep saying, you can be replaced.
Can you bring coffee
Keep
into
saying
the
that.
show, back into the studio?
I never bring coffee.
But you could with your
I bring
influence.
water.
There's
I bring water.
no food
You're
and drink in the studio,
You're the most
John.
respectable person that's part of
I
the whole
respect the
family.
rules.
Well,
I've
Glenn,
always respected the
Glenn
rules.
breaks rules all the time.
That's because he's the people's mayor and
I'm
he's
not
so
breaking the
powerful.
rules.
Certain
I have a
people can
cap.
get away with
It's
stuff.
iced tea. I make my own iced tea.
This is that Quebec moonshine.
No, it's not. I don't
Ooh.
drink.
Actually, speaking of
Quebec
Glenn
culture.
breaking rules,
Yes.
Here it comes.
I mean,
The mad pooper
I-
reveals.
Oh no.
I just gotta ask the question, Glenn. Where's the key?
Oh, I don't have the key.
Where are the keys?
And
Where
to be
are the
honest about it,
keys?
I am one of those that really knows how important that key is. I'm here often enough to know that if you don't have a key to get in,
Yeah.
I don't have a key. So if I can't use the key, like you couldn't use the key today, you had to go upstairs.
Well, yesterday.
I can't wait to see who
Well, I saw
actually
you there
discovers
today.
the key in their
Oh, that's
pocket.
right. Before the show. Yeah, yesterday at the top of the show, because I'd been drinking a lot of water at the top of the hour, at the middle of the show, I played a very long song just to make sure that I had time to get
gotta
up there.
Go up to the fourth floor.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see who actually discovers that they have the key, because I guarantee you, someone
It's in their pocket.
it's in their pocket. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Just
sure.
bring it back.
It's gonna
We
come in the
really
wash.
Need that key.
Yeah.
it's gonna go through the wash. We'll get it next week.
They'll
But
be,
now it's two keys: the men's bathroom and the women's bathroom.
Well,
Maybe
Yeah.
they're. Maybe we should look for somebody
has anyone actually looked in the bathroom?
with different.
I'm sure they have.
why? See, that's the problem. No one can get into the
I know.
bathroom
No,
without the key.
somebody's got a key. I'm sure.
You,
they have.
I used to be able to pick locks, not sophisticated.
That's not
locks,
good.
It's very easy.
Well, maybe easiest doesn't make it right.
Why isn't it? What's wrong with that?
You don't
There's nothing
pick
in there
those
that's
locks?
valuable. I don't think I could pick a lock, but just simple safes and stuff.
Yeah.
All you need is a paper clip and a little finesse.
What do you mean you don't pick a lock, Glenn? How are you going to burglarize someone's home?
I
Are you
lose
going to break?
I have no intention of
Are you
burglarizing
gonna?
someone's
You
home.
just going to break a window? What are you,
No,
a barbarian?
I
It's
don't
called the
belong
brick.
in someone's
Oh.
home if I have to break in.
You what?
You don't belong in someone's home if you have to break in.
I always am losing keys.
How do you get free stuff?
Really? You break a
I
lot of
do.
stuff, huh?
I think it is
How'd you
possible
get away? How do you
that
get free
the key
stuff?
is probably in the men's room because
locked in.
we haven't been able to get in,
Right.
and we don't know who else is going in. All I see in this general area are women employees.
Right.
I have not seen a man. Not that they don't work
They do
here.
exist.
Right.
They do exist.
They are up
absolutely.
here.
How do you
In
know?
a minor
I've
role,
seen
women
some.
might be
There's some
men.
on every floor.
But
Yeah.
I'm
We're
thinking that
rotten
if nobody
people.
ever went in the men's room to notice if the key was in there,
Right.
because we haven't been able to get in.
Right.
And if there are any other male
You have a
employees in the
paperclip.
vicinity, they ain't going. They're
Have
not
you
going
knocked
in.
at the door, see if it'll answer?
Does anybody get a paper clip?
That could be scary, yeah?
You're going to show Glenn how to
It's gotta
break
be a
break
stud
into a
ring on
house?
that.
I don't need to learn that trick.
It's easy.
They don't need to learn it.
Well, I'm just gonna say, me and my dad are innocent because we have not been here since
You're
last
too
week.
young to need to use
You're
the
here
bathroom
every
like
Thursday.
old
What are
men
you
do.
talking about?
Well, it was here last Thursday.
Wait till you get to your late 50s. You'll know 3 a.m. intimately.
Oh my goodness.
No, for me,
Getting
it's just
off.
a mass consumption of water. I drink an awful lot of water.
Yeah.
And it's got to go someplace.
Yes.
I really try to I'm really trying to be really, involved with, thinking about how I need to go to the bathroom before I go to bed.
You're just
Right.
flushing your system. That's a good thing. It's healthy.
Serious flush, I want to
Yes. Yeah. Wow. All right.
We're back to pooping again.
Yes. did you-
Will Stewart said there's been a lot of people that come up, to testify before the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and they use the word poop.
But we're not allowed to
Because-
use anything else now, so.
What word
That's
would you
really
like to use?
strange.
Well, I've created a new word. It's not
I've
a new
I've
word, but I'm
probably
using it,
used
and they're
it
not
in front of
happy
the
with it.
board.
But you can't. It's not obscene. It's called crap. I'm not taking this crap anymore. Crap is the same thing as poop.
That's not a new word, Glenn.
It's not a new word. I didn't. I said,
Sir Thomas Crapper.
I said I didn't create the word, but I'm using it. It's a new word for them because they haven't
that's
heard
a load
it.
of crap.
You sound like Trump. What's the word Trump claimed he invented?
Oh, I haven't invented anything,
Is that
so I'm not like Trump.
Confifi?
No, there was a word. There was a word Trump said, a very common word that Trump claimed that he invented that no one said it before. Just a one-syllable word, and I can't remember what it was now.
Crap.
No, it wasn't
it's
crap.
not crap.
I don't remember. No.
I'm gonna look it up really quick. Something like.
You sure it's not Trump?
How come you don't do word association games on the morning show? That could be very interesting with the crew there.
There you go. You can bring that game to the morning show
They used to do
tomorrow
it with
morning.
Joel.
They do.
Well, we're trying to get away from what they used to do with Joel. You know what I'm saying?
And
Joel's
he's
no longer
Mariah
here.
now?
He's no longer with us. In the
what?
you
Joel
know,
died?
No longer with Eddie?
No, he's still
I
on
haven't
the
heard
show.
from him.
Actually, he was
never
on there.
calls back.
He was listening to you the other day on Facebook. Remember?
That's right. Yes.
He never returns my calls.
There was a
or
moose.
anybody.
There was a
He's
moose
not
sighting.
returning any calls.
Yeah, because Peter wants to hear from him.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, fake. That's what it was. Fred says it too in the Facebook live
Fake?
chat. Fake is the word that Trump said he invented.
Fake. Everything's fake.
My mother thought she invented the word weird, and I had to show her my Shakespeare Macbeth from high school. Oh, see the Weird Sisters. It's like, oh. Yeah, she thought she was weird.
That's very strange. Yeah, I was going to say she must have been pretty weird to think that she invented the word weird.
I don't know about that.
It's just
no, a real one.
That's crappy.
You wouldn't say that if she was alive, Glenn.
Why did she object to such vulgarities? Glenn's very vulgar.
Me? Nah.
You should hear him at the meetings. Jeez.
If he had said the mom was
so mean.
Yes.
I am mean.
He's just spirited.
I look for every time I watch a meeting or I'm there. I look forward to him talking.
It's called being passionate about what you believe in.
And I like that. That's we need more of that.
That's why we live in America.
You keep them on their toes too. I like
America's already great.
Accountability.
We can improve it, but it's already great.
I agree.
Stop saying we got to make it greater. It's great.
Oh,
I like that.
Oh, what a patriotic crap.
Somebody else said that recently.
Who?
The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
Yes.
Patriotism is
That's
the
a good
last
clip.
refuge of a
It is.
scoundrel. Dr. Johnson.
That was a great speech.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Power.
Oh, yeah, patriotism.
John C. Hopwood, you seem a little jaded. You
You
seem
went-
a little cynical.
It's
You
the
were
jacket.
in the service. You
It
don't
is.
consider yourself a patriot?
Who would, unless you're a professional veteran? You
Oh.
know, the thing,
Excuse
veteran,
me, he's not a professional veteran.
a professional veteran is a professional veteran that gets out there and pitches himself as a professional veteran. You've met them before.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Like Al
Yes, there
Baldessaro?
is. Al's
We're proud
a
to have
special
them.
case.
They
Why are
protect
you
us.
proud to have them?
Because they protect us.
How do they protect you?
Oh, here we go.
This is going to be
What do you
good.
mean, how do you go?
This ought to be really good.
Yeah.
How do you know? You've
Kashin
never
Garang
served.
Gatin Katosh. There you go.
You never served.
Oui.
No, I never served, but I did serve in state guards. I wasn't allowed to serve because of my medical
What are the
condition.
state guards?
Well,
Is
you
that
weren't-
where you learned how the disco dance?
you went around maybe in those years? You are a little bit younger than me.
I'm 59 years old.
Well, they had state guards then.
Why would I was in the United States Army.
According a minute ago, you weren't really anything. You don't appreciate it. You should be appreciating
You know, don't ever lecture me about military service.
Here we go.
What do you mean, go?
It's an honor to be a
You guys are
going
gonna
to
fight.
It's an
You
honor
have
to be a
no
veteran.
idea what it's like to be a veteran or disabled veteran. You know, and look, you're uncomfortable. You know, they got people, they have like at the school board, or they had something where they bring, oh, now you're going to go off to the military. But what they don't tell you, you're going to have to kill men, women, and children. And then you're going to have to live with it.
Glenn had to do
Or
that
you're
in
going to
the
have PTSD.
state guards.
And you're going to have to
I
live with it.
understand all that.
No, you don't
Yes, I do.
understand that. Only veterans understand it. And understand that the worst thing you have to live with is it wasn't worth it. And I know plenty of veterans that have that attitude. I met a guy up at the VA, 94 years old, fifth wave D-Day. He was and he's still talking about he was drafted at 18.
Yeah.
And he's there, right out of Lawrence High School. Because FDR said they're not going to use anybody under 21 in combat. Yeah. Who was Rene Gagnon? How old was he? 18, 19, French-Canadian. I was alive.
You mean he passed under the radar?
Up at Iwo Jima. And they gave him a job. He used to collect the money at one of the parking lots. See, this makes everybody uncomfortable, the reality of what being a veteran is. See, World War II, when everybody cycled through, or Vietnam, people understood this. patriotism is so cheap.
I don't think anyone's uncomfortable. We were just hoping you and Glenn were
No,
going
but
to fight.
it does make
that's
you
always
uncomfortable.
entertaining.
Why wouldn't it make you uncomfortable? It's a very uncomfortable and unsettling thing. you know?
Well, we are
the reality.
Yes.
Well, but that's why I don't like to hear about patriotism. But I was willing to die for my country and still would. Yeah.
Well, we are just about out of time, but what do you gentlemen have coming up on the Weekly Dion?
This week we have Mr. Rob Curry, co-owner of Madeir's.
Oh, he's great.
Rob's a great friend. He's
Great
actually on the planning board of Manchester too.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about different things, and looking forward to hear about Rob. And I was trying to get him on for a while, and just busy guy.
Yeah.
Great food. So we'll be talking about Madeir's and things he's done in Manchester as a community member. So
very good.
He's been really busy making great food.
Yeah.
Good
stuff.
You had him on, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'd forgotten about that. You're right. Yeah.
Wish we had a kitchen in the studio.
No cooking.
Used to have one in the old studio.
We used to have one, and we used to have cooking shows.
Really?
Down by the river.
I love doing a cooking show.
Okay, calm down, Dan.
Just ask for it.
I cook mostly
put in-
after 1 o'clock in the morning. It's quiet. Then.
Oh, you can cook with Glenn.
It's relaxing.
Cook with Glenn.
Nobody
That's the
talks.
show.
to me.
That's
Cook
the show
with-
right there.
Yes.
That's the show.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much. The Weekly Dion is coming up next live at 6 p.m. right here on WMNH 95.3 FM. And we're going to get out of here. If you missed any part of today's show, it'll be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. Thanks, everybody. And I will talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Matt.